Think about it. You wouldn't hand someone car keys without teaching them how to drive, right? Yet, that's exactly what happens when we focus only on estate planning paperwork without sharing the knowledge that makes it all work. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 5 essential lessons every retiree should teach their kids about estate planning. Plus, one small bonus tip that could save them from an unexpected crisis. Because in the end, your wisdom might just be more valuable than any documents you'll ever sign. Let me bust a big myth right away. Estate planning isn't just for the ultra-wealthy. It's for anyone who doesn't want to leave their family with a mess. Here's what's really at stake when these conversations don't happen. Imagine you have a sudden medical emergency and your adult child needs to access your accounts to pay your bills. But they can't because no one knows where anything is. Or your 401k beneficiaries don't match what your will says, creating a legal tangle that takes months to sort out. Even worse, your kids end up arguing over who gets what because nobody ever talked through your wishes while you were still here to explain them. We've all seen families torn apart because of this. The sibling who feels left out, the executor who's overwhelmed, the spouse who discovers they can't even access a joint account. These aren't rare situations. They are predictable problems that happen when estate planning is treated like paperwork instead of people. The truth is, passing on your wisdom ensures that doesn't happen in your family. Your kids need to understand not just what you've done, but why you've done it and how it all fits together. Lesson number 1. People, not paper. If your kids think estate planning is just a binder on a shelf, they're missing out the point entirely. Here's what you need to teach them. The people you've chosen matter way more than the papers they are named in. Your executor, your trustee, your power of attorney agents. These aren't just fancy titles. These are the people who will step into your shoes when you can't wear them anymore. Let me give you an example of why this matters. Say you are traveling overseas and a medical decision needs to be made for your spouse back home. If you've named your daughter as healthcare power of attorney and you've actually talked with her about your spouse's preferences, what kind of care they would want, what their fears are, what matters most to them, then your daughter already knows what to do. She's not guessing or panicking. She's acting on the wisdom you shared. But if all she has is a piece of paper with your name on it and no conversations to back it up, she's making life-altering decisions in the dark. The payoff here is huge. Clarity lowers stress and avoids delays when your family needs to act fast. Teach your kids that estate planning is about the relationships and conversations, not just the legal documents. Lesson number 2, incapacity planning or don't be a burden. Here's something most people get wrong. Estate planning isn't just about after you're gone. It's also about while you're alive but can't make decisions for yourself. This is where you teach your kids about the unglamorous but crucial stuff: financial power of attorney, healthcare power of attorney, and HIPAA authorization forms. These documents determine who can help you when you can't help yourself. Imagine you have a stroke and you are in the hospital, unable to communicate. Your bills still need to be paid. Your investments might need adjusting, and medical decisions have to be made. Without the right paperwork in place, your kids can't do any of this for you, even if they are willing and capable. But here's the key part. Having the documents isn't enough. Your kids need to know your preferences ahead of time. Do you want aggressive medical treatment or comfort care? How do you feel about nursing homes? What bills are most critical to pay first? When you share these preferences now, it means your kids won't be left guessing in a crisis. They will be able to act quickly and confidently because they know what you would want. The payoff is smooth decision-making when time is tight and emotions are running high. Don't make your kids learn about your wishes by trial and error during the worst moments of their lives. Lesson number 3, how assets really move. Here's a mini hook that might surprise your kids. Wills don't move everything. This is probably one of the most misunderstood aspects of estate planning, and it's critical that your kids get this right. Assets don't all flow the same way when someone dies. There are actually 3 different lanes they travel in. First lane, probate assets that go through your will. This includes things like your house, if it's only in your name, bank accounts without beneficiaries, and personal belongings. Second lane, non-probate assets that go directly to named beneficiaries. Think life insurance, retirement accounts, and bank accounts with payable on death designations. Third lane, trust-owned assets that bypass probate entirely and go according to trust instructions. Here's why this matters with a real example. Imagine you update your will to leave your retirement accounts to your 3 kids equally, but you never updated the actual beneficiary form on the 401k, which still names just your oldest child. Guess what? The 401k money goes entirely to your oldest child, regardless of what your will says. The beneficiary form trumps the will every single time. Your kids need to understand this 3-lane system because mismatched beneficiaries can completely undo your careful planning. When they know how assets really move, there are fewer surprises, faster distributions, and way less family drama. Lesson number 4. Taxes heirs actually face. Ask most kids what tax they will owe on an inheritance, and they will say estate tax. But here's the truth. Most estates today don't even come close to the federal estate tax exemption. The real taxes your kids are likely to face are income taxes and capital gains taxes. Here's what you need to teach them about the taxes that will probably affect them. Step up in basis, the 10-year inherited IRA rule, and why timing matters more than they think. Let's start with step up in basis. Say you bought stock years ago for $50,000. And now it's worth $250,000. If you sell it today, you would pay capital gains tax on that $200,000 profit. But if your kids inherit it, they get a stepped up basis, meaning they inherit it at the current $250,000 value. If they sell it right away, there's no capital gains tax at all. Now, here's the flip side with retirement accounts. The old rule used to let beneficiaries stretch inherited IRA distributions over their lifetime. Not anymore. Most beneficiaries now have to empty inherited IRAs within 10 years, which can create some serious tax planning challenges. Here's an example of why timing matters. Imagine your child inherits your $500,000 IRA in a year when they are already in a high tax bracket due to their job. If they take a large distribution that same year, they could push themselves into even higher bracket. But if they understand the rules, they can spread those distributions strategically over the 10-year period to minimize the tax hit. The payoff: when your kids understand these rules, more after-tax money stays in the family instead of going to Uncle Sam unnecessarily. Lesson number 5. The where everything lives map. When something happens to you, your kids don't want to go on a scavenger hunt to find your important information. This lesson is about creating what I call the where everything lives map. Your kids need to know where your documents are located, who your professional contacts are, how to access important accounts, and what needs to happen in the first 10 days after you are gone. Now, let's make this personal. Picture this. You pass away and your kids are grieving, but are also trying to figure out what to do. They can't find your life insurance policy. They don't know which bank you used for your savings account. And nobody can locate the deed to the house. Weeks go by as they search through file cabinets, shoe boxes, and old emails. Bills start piling up. Property taxes go unpaid, and the family starts to argue about who should handle what. All of that stress comes not from lack of love, but from lack of organization. Now, flip the script. Imagine instead that you've left behind one well-organized folder. In it are your will, trust documents, insurance policies, a list of documents, contact information for your attorney and advisor, and even a first 10 days checklist. Your executor opens it up and knows exactly what to do. Bills get paid, insurance claims are filed, and professionals are contacted, all within days, not weeks. That's the difference a simple map makes. With one folder, you give your kids confidence and peace of mind in a time when they will need it most. And here's the bonus I mentioned earlier. Something small that most people never think about, but it can make a huge difference. Encourage your adult kids, anyone 18 or older, to have their own basic HIPAA release and power of attorney documents so you can help them if they are in an accident. Think about it this way. Your 25-year-old daughter gets in a car accident and is unconscious. You rush to the hospital, but the doctors won't tell you anything about her condition because of privacy laws. You can't make decisions for her. You can't even get basic information about whether she's okay. But if she had signed a simple HIPAA release naming you, suddenly you get the information you need and help coordinate for her care. This ties the wisdom forward and shows your kids that estate planning isn't a one-time event for old people. It's a life skill that protects families at every age. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, and I've heard these objections before. My kids don't want to talk about this stuff. I get it. These talks can feel awkward, but here's the reframe. They don't want you to become a burden on them either. When you give them this roadmap, You're actually giving them a gift, the gift of knowing how to help you without the stress of figuring it out during a crisis. We already signed everything we need. That's great, but signing documents is just the first step. Now you need to make sure your beneficiary designations match your intentions, your asset titles align with your plan, and your family knows how it all works together. We're not wealthy enough for this to matter. This isn't about being wealthy. It's about clarity and family harmony. Even modest estates can create big headaches if the family doesn't understand how everything works. Sometimes the biggest fights happen over smallest amounts because it's really about feeling respected and included. Let me recap those 5 essential lessons. First, people matter more than paper. Teach them about the roles and relationships, not just the documents. Second, don't become a burden. Help them understand incapacity planning so they can help you when needed. Third, show them how assets really move through those 3 different lanes. Fourth, teach them about the taxes they will actually face, not the ones they worry about unnecessarily. And fifth, create that where everything leaves map so they are not lost when they need to act. Here's your key takeaway. You've gathered a lifetime of wisdom about money, family, and what really matters. Passing that wisdom on now, through conversations, not just documents, protects your family far more than any single legal form ever could. Your estate plan documents are important, but your knowledge about why you made those choices and how everything fits together, that's irreplaceable. Don't take that wisdom with you. Share it now, while you can still guide your kids through the complexity and help them understand not just what you've done, but why it matters. You now have the framework for conversations that can prevent family messes. But what happens when families still end up in a conflict despite good planning? In this video, I'll show you how to divide inheritance fairly without starting a family war. Be sure to check it out.